start recording so that this session is recorded so folks can refer back to it if they're not able to join us today, because I definitely would forget that. Welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining us for Annual Health and Wellness Expo hosted by Campus Rec. We are so thankful to our presenters and to all of you for joining us today. We encourage you to attend as many sessions as you would like, and we encourage you to visit our website for the full session schedule. We do have more sessions this evening, as well as sessions throughout the day tomorrow. So I did just post that in the chat. If anybody would like to check that out for any other sessions you'd like to attend, please do. Everybody who attends the session is entered to win either a t-shirt or a water bottle, and winners will be emailed after the raffle is drawn. The more sessions that you attend, obviously, the more chances that you have to win. Just a few items before we get started with this session. Obviously, I just mentioned this session is being recorded, and you will be able to refer back to it on our website. Also, feel free to share it with any other colleagues, coworkers that you may wish here at Rowan, who may have not gotten the chance to join us here today. We ask that you please do keep yourself muted throughout the presentation unless you're directed otherwise. Encourage you to use the chat for questions or comments. I will be here throughout the event, so if you do have any questions, comments, feedback, anything like that, feel free to use the chat. You can message me directly or just message everybody, and I'll be sure to get to those. And now I'd like to introduce you to our presenter today, Katie Baxter. Katie is an area coordinator in the Office of Residential Learning and University Housing with a personal passion and focus on mental well-being and mindfulness. Katie has completed level 1 and level 2 of, I have no idea how to pronounce this, so Katie, correct me when I butcher it, Usui Reiki Ryoho training. Was I anywhere close? Okay, I got a thumbs up, so that's good news.
You got it perfect.
All right, great. I'm in the ballpark. Spending time learning and training best practices for self-Reiki, Reiki on others, and distance Reiki. COVID-19 has had a large impact on many people, which was perfect time to hone in on skills related to performing a healing practice in a safe way during a global pandemic. Katie is currently working towards a graduate certificate of study in wellness coaching at Rowan and holds a master's degree in public relations and school communications. Katie has also taken a course in mindfulness-based stress reduction through UMass Memorial Medical Center's Center for Mindfulness, and is always striving to learn more about forms of healing for support of herself and those around her. So with that being said, I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen so you all can see Katie, and let Katie take it away.
Awesome, thank you so much. And thank you all for joining me tonight. Sorry if my video is a little laggy. For me that it is, my computer's being a little weird, so I'm just gonna roll with it. If you stop being able to hear me, just let me know. You only need to hear me, you don't need to see me for very long, so no worries. So like Andrew said, my name is Katie. I do work here in the housing office, and in my spare time, I do also practice Reiki on myself and others. I do offer Reiki here on campus, and Reiki is something that kind of just became a personal passion area of mine. It kind of just fell into my lap in some different ways, and I was able to experience it through a couple different practitioners. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about what Reiki actually is, and then we'll get started and jump into our practice tonight. So when we talk about Reiki, Reiki is a form of Japanese energy healing. It started with Dr. Mikao Usui over in Japan, right around like the late 1800s, early 1900s, is when he really was just trying to find a way to offer different forms of healing to individuals. And he kind of discovered this way of healing by the laying on of hands. It's kind of the traditional path that Reiki started down. And so with it, he also wanted to create a method that was not attached to any particular religion and that it was accessible to everybody. And so when we talk about Reiki, the kanji and the symbols that make up the word Reiki are Rei, meaning sacred, and Ki, meaning energy. So with Reiki, we are talking about the literal art of moving energy and sending energy to where it needs to go in the body. I like to say that I'm not a healer, I'm a helper. And so my role as a practitioner is to take that energy and send it where it needs to go. So with Reiki practitioners, some practitioners, they offer it in private sessions, they offer it in group sessions. There's also volunteer opportunities at like hospitals that will perform Reiki on other people who are in the hospital for various reasons. And when Reiki first started, it really kind of went down from Dr. Usui in Japan through to Dr. Hayashi, and then over to Mrs. Takata, who lived in the United States. When it first came over into the United States, it was a Japanese art coming around at the time in Hawaii is where it came over, and it was right around Pearl Harbor. So not really a great time for Japanese culture to be coming over to the United States. So it really became a practice that Mrs. Takata really needed to kind of make her own. And then she started all these different lineages into the practice that you see today. So what you can expect from our session will just be kind of getting us started with some intention setting, some grounding. I am, as we get started, going to share my screen. There's going to be some breathing techniques that I'll go ahead and put on the screen for you, as well as share some music. And this afternoon is really just meant to be whatever is the most helpful for you. I will be sharing some music as well as I kind of talk through a guided meditation. So if you want to crank the volume up and you want to be kind of immersed in the sound and the music, that's great. If you want to mute me and just receive the Reiki, that's also fine. If you have headphones or you're laying down, you're seated, anything is totally fine, however you're comfortable. If you have to move around at all during the session, that's also totally fine. It's not going to break the Reiki in any way. So if your leg falls asleep and you want to shift around, that's totally great. You don't have to worry about that at all. If you do have any questions as we go ahead and get started, feel free to pop them in the chat. You can even private message me if you'd like. But as we get started, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Again, I'll put up some breathing techniques for you and talk about that more in a second. But so just take a moment to go ahead, get comfortable in whatever position is the most appropriate for you. And I'm going to start playing some music, share my screen, and we'll jump right in. So like I mentioned, up here on the screen, you have some different breathing techniques that you are able to try during our practice today. If you find that it's really hard for you to focus, maybe you're thinking about a to-do list, or you're thinking about a grocery list, you're thinking about what you have to do this evening or tomorrow, try to be present if you're able to. These breathing techniques called box breathing and yoga breathing are two different techniques that are really helpful just to kind of help you stay grounded and stay here in the moment. So again, if that's helpful for you, you can come on back to these, but just remember, there is nothing in particular that you need to be doing during this time. The purpose of Reiki is to help relax, to help de-stress, to help heal. So whatever that means for you today, go ahead and come into your breath and find whatever way you're most comfortable as we get started. Settle into a seated posture and close your eyes. Notice the energy in the mind and the body. As you come into a period of mindfulness, you may notice the energy of your day resting in the mind and the body. The mind may be active, the body may feel worked up, or maybe you notice a bit of lingering anxiety. Whatever you are feeling today, don't try to change it. Simply acknowledge it. Take a moment to focus on your feet. Notice how they're feeling today after the end of the day. Maybe you're sore, maybe you haven't been on your feet that much. Go ahead and clench those feet and toes, squeeze them as hard as you can, then relax. Bring your attention now up your legs, through your calves and your glutes, your entire bottom half, and squeeze those as hard as you can, and then relax. Coming up your sides and bringing attention to your hands, your arms, your shoulders, squeezing everything in as hard as you can, and then relax. Bring your attention now to your stomach, your chest, your torso, scripting and bringing in all of those muscles, holding them tight for just a second, and then relax. Coming up through your throat, squeezing every muscle in your face, squeeze those eyes tight, your mouth. It's all right if you're making a silly face. Squeeze those as tight as you can, then relax. Finally, bringing in your attention to your whole body, squeezing every muscle that you possibly can, holding every muscle tight for just a moment, and then release all your muscles, sinking down into the earth. As you relax your body, take a moment to come back to your breathing. In your mind, think of a shaken snow globe with all that energy swirling around. As you rest this afternoon, imagine the little snowflakes falling gently to the ground. Think of yourself as a snow globe, and every snowflake as a thought. In this way, watch as each and every snowflake falls to the ground. Do not force yourself to calm down. Let it happen slowly and organically. Bring your attention to the breath in the body. Choose one spot where the breath is felt easily. It may be the center of the chest, the abdomen, the shoulders, or the nostrils. Observe the physical sensation of the body breathing. If you need help focusing, try counting your breath as it comes in and out. Observe your breath for the next few moments, bringing your mind back when it wanders. Think of your snow globe, and as thoughts begin to rise up, observe as they slowly settle back down. Open your awareness to include your thoughts and your mind. Instead of returning to the breath when your mind wanders, notice what your mind is doing. Maybe you're planning, fantasizing, figuring things out, or getting stuck in rumination while you replay past experiences. Whatever you observe your mind doing, let it be. When you recognize a thought, what happens? Try not to encourage the thought, but don't push it away either. Allow it to be, and allow it to go on its own. Shake up your snow globe and watch the thoughts float and settle around you. See if you can watch the snowflakes and thoughts passing as they follow their natural trajectory and leave the mind. Return to your breath and wait until another thought arises. Notice it, watch the thought, and come back to the breath again. Continue with mindfulness of both your breath and your thoughts. Notice how your mind feels as your thoughts and snowflakes swirl around. If the mind grows anxious or frustrated, acknowledge that it has done so. Whether your snowflakes are lightly falling or a swirling blizzard, acknowledge what you feel today in this moment. Any feeling is perfectly fine. Recognize it, accept it, and then move your focus to the next snowflake. Whatever it looks like today, spend a few more moments inside your snow globe. When you're ready, start to add some light movement back to your body. Maybe you're rolling out your ankles or wrists. Maybe you're taking a big stretch. Whatever movement your body's asking for in this moment, take some time for that movement now. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, coming back into our space today. I encourage you to take some time over the rest of your evening and afternoon just to reflect on anything that might have come up for you. Water is always a great thing to drink, but water is also good to help release any toxins that have been built up in your body. So just make sure you're listening to your body. Recognize what maybe you need today, tomorrow, or in the future. If there's any space you created for yourself during the practice this afternoon, feel free to come back to that space anytime you want. I did also, before we wrapped up, just wanted to share as well. This is my contact information here on the screen. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to stay back. That's why I wanted to leave a few minutes at the end. If there's any questions or anybody wanted to talk about anything that maybe came up for them. I do also host Zoom Reiki sessions through the SJICR on campus. So I did put the dates up here as well. If you are interested in joining, please feel free to do so, as well as some other opportunities you're able to connect with me as well. So feel free to screenshot this if you'd like, or just, jot down my email, and feel free to reach out to me later if you have any questions or you wanted to connect in any other way. And I'll go ahead and leave the remainder of our time if there was any questions or anything that anybody wanted to share.
Thank you very much, Katie. That was great. And I feel very relaxed right now. I feel like I could fall asleep at my desk at the moment. So I
it's a good and a bad thing.
Yeah, I gotta drive home now. I gotta like wake myself up somehow to make this drive, but I appreciate it. And like Katie said, if anybody does have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat. For anybody that did hop in later that is interested in any of our remaining sessions, I'll post that one more time in the chat for the rest of the day and tomorrow. So feel free to check those out. And thank you once again, Katie, for putting this on for our Health and Wellness Expo. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you all for joining. Now that I'm done, I feel less laggy.
Isn't that the way it always works with technology?
Yeah,
you finish.
Like my camera's finally not lagging, and here we are.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. I said I appreciate it. It's good to see your face again, even if not in person, but hopefully before too long.
Yeah, I know. I hope we get back to normal soon. We keep saying the fall will be more normal, and no one knows what that means yet. So
we'll see. We'll shall see. All right.
All right. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.